everybody. It's Jessica Stone at Stansberry Research, and I have the pleasure of two people's company today. Brian Beach, one of our analysts who has been very instrumental in finding the company GAN, which we have also invited the CEO of GAN, which is in the technology space and in the gaming space, and I'll let him get more into that. But one of the fascinating things about GAN is that, Brian, you found GAN as a company, I guess, back last fall, and since then the stock value has gone up 453%. So we've got Dermot Smurfit, the CEO of GAN, joining us now, and Brian Beach, my colleague at Stansberry Research. Dermot, if you could talk about what kind of company is GAN? Tell us what you do and the space that you operate in, please.
Thank you, Jessica. Yes, GAN is an enterprise software solution provider to principally retail casinos in the US who need to and want to move online consequent to regulation of real money internet gambling taking place in their domestic state. So GAN deploys the technology solution required for retail casino operators to launch an internet gambling website and counterpart mobile apps and undertake the fundamental activities of setting up and operating a successful and profitable internet gambling business, whether that's sports gambling and or internet casino gaming.
Brian, what was it about GAN that you found so attractive even before you recommended it?
What really got us excited, in addition to being a software company and being kind of underfollowed, was the online sports betting legislation that's been passed throughout the country here. This is like the one thing in these state capitals that Republicans and Democrats agreed on, and the software that GAN builds kind of helps facilitate that.
Obviously, the pandemic has really given companies in the gaming and gambling space just a shot in the arm. It's gone through the roof. What is going on in your industry to capitalize on this sort of bump you've gotten sort of naturally and keep it going when we're out of quarantine and we may have other options?
We've seen a lot of retail casino gamblers switch into the online channel for real money gambling in the limited number of states where casino gaming is regulated and up and running and operational. Really, it's only New Jersey and Pennsylvania. We've also seen a very interesting behavior change by online sports gamblers, where in the absence or the sudden absence of most major US sporting events, we've seen them all jump onto what I would describe as van ordinaire sports events, which they can watch in the evening. So suddenly an average Joe martial arts fight becomes the most extraordinary mini Super Bowl spike of activity because it's the only thing you can watch of an evening at the weekend and gamble on either before or during the actual event itself. So we've seen an unusual pattern of behavior. I think we've guided the market that we were surprised that sports betting didn't decline as much as we anticipated in the second quarter of this year. And we certainly see US sports betting coming back to life slowly but steadily. And we think some degree of normalcy will return by the time we hit the early stages of fall. Post-COVID-19, we've seen, or continuing COVID-19, we've seen an extreme increase in political will to regulate internet gambling in various different states where historically the retail stakeholders in the political landscape, the casinos, have simply either ignored or resisted the idea of pushing for or asking the local politicians to implement internet gaming legislation. Now it's a very, very different environment. It is literally at the top of the agenda for a lot of retail casinos to lobby the local politicians to get legislation passed, sometimes using emergency powers. We've seen both tribes in Connecticut ask their governor to use his emergency powers to let internet gambling take place immediately.
You're saying COVID is not slowing down. If anything, it's accelerating the pace at which these state representatives want to push this through or at least vote on it.
There is a general consensus that the political environment has shifted fundamentally to be permissive as opposed to prohibitive. And I do believe that when the assemblies, the Senates and the Houses of Representatives reconvene, probably after the end of summer, you're going to see a very strong sweep of regulation through the fall and into the new year. And that will, I would argue, surprise everybody. We've seen
because that's a source of revenue for them to stay in business, even in a post-COVID world. Can I follow up on this sort of topic of regulation, because that's been sort of a big piece of the success of the business model. We know that all of the states are looking for money in light of COVID-19. They all need funds, and there's every expectation that they'll tax anything in sight. How do you figure that into your calculation? Do you expect to have more taxes apply to the services that you provide, and how will you navigate that?
Well, ultimately, states are reasonably logical at the industrial level in that they know if they overtax internet gambling, then there's no profit opportunity, therefore there will be no industry. Or if there is an industry, it will look like the French internet gambling industry, which has absolutely zero profit opportunity for any stakeholder who wishes to operate an internet gambling website.
Is there a plan to bring this outside the United States, to bring your services there?
We have spent quite a bit of time over the years, again, very long-term investment in developing relationships in Macau. We do believe the DICJ, the regulator of Macau, will start looking at the merits of internet gambling now that the retail casino industry has been so massively disrupted by COVID-19 and may well be disrupted again. So I think that's one opportunity, very heavily regulated land-based casinos over there. Moreover, in Australia, there is permissive internet sports gambling, but no internet casino gaming. And you have a very large, again, highly regulated land-based casino industry where GAN has been engaged in and out over the past few years. And we foresee that Australia will regulate internet gaming, casino gaming, at some point in the relatively near future, which I define as the next 12 to 24 months. And on the back of that, that will create a very, very interesting opportunity for GAN to go and enable the bricks and mortar land-based casinos to move online and serve internet gaming to their customers.
Is GAN not just coming up with new games and new gaming techniques, but also new ways to play virtual games that could give you patents so that you have another stream of revenue from that vantage point in terms of actually having your own proprietary technology?
You're absolutely right. We do have a plan. We are investing in innovation and trying to create what I describe as online casino games designed to appeal to Americans who are used to casino slot gaming in retail gaming casinos, but also to expand the relevance of those games to a younger demographic, because the typical casino demographic is, in the 40s and 50s and 60s, and yet there's this huge
Big
cohort of youngsters
yeah.
who need to be attracted online with effectively the same gambling math and gambling mechanics, but presented with a user interface which is of relevant appeal. So that doesn't mean we're about to bring out some crazy teenage pop song casino games, but we're certainly thinking about how do we make casino gaming more relevant to that younger generation here in the United States, which is yet to really commit to the retail gaming environment.
Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us, Dermot Smurfit, the CEO of GAN, and Brian Beach, senior analyst at Stansberry Research. Thanks so much for your time. And if you would like to see more content just like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's all for now. Thanks for joining us.